nation. It's your boy Comic Chat with another fire intro. Rule of Three is the name of the show, and I made it here for my main man, Mr. Chris Knight. I hope you like it, bro. So here we go. Well, the Rule of Three is the name of the show. It stars Chris Knight, Comic Chat, and Nzo. Third Monday of the month at 9 o'clock, so don't be late, cause that's when the fun starts. We talk about this, we talk about that. 5 questions, decide fiction or is it fact? 3 cats that all came together like Run DMC. We're tougher than leather, so grab a seat, strap on in. The Rule of Three is about to begin, so let's go. Rule of Three is a show, Khaos Central is the channel. It stars me, Chris Knight, and Nzo. 3 cats with one singular vision to make this channel the best channel on YouTube, the best channel on the planet. Peace.
Is there any stuff? What is up, everybody? I am so sorry. I'm using a different computer setup right now. My computer's down, so yeah, fun times. All right. How's everybody doing? Been a minute since I've been around. Some things have happened. I talked backstage with the guys about it. Yeah, he's like, yeah, we keep that here, guys. We keep that here. Anyways, what's going on? See, we got Shifty. We got Major, G Major, or what up, no? Let's see here. Dewan, Basil's here. David was here. Let's guys do me a favor on my Twitter at Chris95150 right here. Please do me a favor and share that out. Since I'm on a different computer, I really can't share it out too much because going back and forth is going to cause a lot of issues, and that's how it goes. All right. With that said, let's get to these 2 guys right here. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Start up here with Nzo. Nzo, tell everybody about yourself and what you got going on lately.
What's up, guys? Biggaford Entertainment. You know how we do it. We have the Khaos shows, the OOC, and we have a few tournaments. There won't be a tournament this weekend because I will be at a wake. As you guys know, if you saw the OOC, Roberto lost his aunt a couple of weeks ago, so we'll be doing that tomorrow. But next week, we'll be back with the tournament.
All right. Thank you very much. And up next, Danny, Mr. Comic Chat. Go ahead and tell everybody about yourself.
What up? It's me, Comic Chat. Like Nzo said, we're doing the Monday night things on Khaos Central on Wednesday night. Last night I was on OC. I missed hang out. I had to work. Work was trying to pick back up, which I am not complaining about one bit. Thank you, Lord. Sunday nights, Rob Storm's live. And now I'm doing something called the Encouragement Series. I do it every Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. I send out a word of the day and also a quote of the day, and on Fridays I do it as a premiere so I can actually be in the live chat. So tomorrow morning, as long as the video goes, I will be in the live chat. So if anyone is up that early and they want to chat with me while the video is going, we can discuss it. And hey man, just trying to do some improvement, brother.
I saw that, man. I've seen them. I got them all saved as watch later if I haven't watched them, but it's good stuff, man. It's really good stuff. I like that.
Appreciate it. Tuckerverse said, "Danny, you missed my weekly bad news." But no, I don't want to say that. Tucker has become the most negative person on the planet. Especially something with he saw now to me, and we ain't gonna talk about this. So I can go ahead and talk about it. The Craven trailer was fire. I liked it. I was like, I'm ready to go see it. Oh my goodness, it's just a point or 2 better than Morbius. Oh my god.
I almost had things about Disney, but I actually, in one of the chat groups I have on Twitter, I actually stopped and said, listen, guys, this is something they've done a million times. They've shed weight, their stock drops, and then people buy it 2 for 1, and then their stock soars. Like in the next 2 years, the stock's going to be higher than it's ever been before. I almost guarantee it. A lot of people coming out with saying, oh, I have sources, I have this, I have that.
I'm not discounting what you're saying, because you might be right. I don't follow that closely, but I do know for one thing. Disney is too important to America to that just fall to the wayside.
Exactly.
So they're gonna do some kind of bailout or something. They're gonna do something to save Disney. So if you think Disney going anywhere, it might change some owners or something. I hope other countries don't get their forks into it. But Disney not
I don't
going
know.
there. It's too important.
I don't
for
think.
Americana.
I don't think that America's going to let anything like that happen. Competing with Thor's screaming goats. Hold on just a second, guys.
Woo!
But I'm right there with you, Danny. I think the Craven trailer looked pretty good. You know,
I'm ready to see it. It may be crap, and if it's crap, I think y'all know me by now. I say, well, I was wrong. I don't mind saying I was wrong, but I'm telling you, and I know people gonna say, well, it's not like the comic books. But how many movies have we seen? Last time I checked, and I think Nzo was with me on this. I like Venom, the first one better than the second, but I knew from the giddy up it was Venom from a different universe. So he got his powers a little bit different. He act a little bit different. The same thing with Craven. We all know that Craven drank some kind of potion on the cartoons in the comic books. This time, I guess he got some kind of genetically enhanced lion, vampire. Like I don't know what it's going to be. That's what it looks like. The lion is the most jacked up lion I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he's like super lion. He's missing the cake. So I guess I don't know. Maybe some kind of genetically altered or something was done in the lab to this lion that we don't know about. Maybe we'll find out about, and it transferred it powers to him. I don't know, but still look fire to me.
I agree. And let me say this, Shifty. I did watch Superman and Lois, and I would have to agree with you on that one. Don't ask me why I'm agreeing with you, but yeah, you're right. It was fire, and the new Lex was good.
John Wick Craven movie. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I would say that I don't know.
Shit, he don't know
The
what to
Craven
say
thing
anymore.
was good. I'm not sure. What, me? No. I have my kid right here too. So, I'm up in the kitchen, like I said. So everything goes on up here. Normally I'm by myself. But I was going to say that the Craven thing looks really good. And I'm looking at this, the whole thing about the laughing and the goats too. That was that's funny. And we're going to talk a little bit about that, about Flash. Yeah. We're going to talk a little bit about Flash. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Jonathan Majors. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I don't have the whole get up like I normally have, guys. Like I said, different computers, so I can't do all that. But we will do 3 topics like usual. So here's topic number 1, guys. And I'm going to have to use my phone for a timer too. That's the other difference. It's everything. Anyways.
I can pull a timer up. Can you share it?
No, I can't.
Okay.
Oh, you can, yeah. If you want to pull a timer up, if you can share it, I guess I can, yeah. I should be able to share it. Sharing is going to be a lot easier than anything else with me. If you can bring it up.
You're absolutely right, DQ. I'm right there with you, brother. Hey, what up, Jedi Bill? What's going on?
C-. It was amusing. That's about it. I don't know. I saw it 2 weeks. I saw it 2 weeks before it came out.
You guys loved it, though.
I liked it. I did. I understand. I've listened to your comments, Anzo, about what you had wrong with it. I looked past that because the whole thing about this is that when you go back and you do that, it changes everything. And we said about not in game, but oh shoot,
you can do it.
Yeah, in game. It was in game. I'm sorry, not Infinity War. Yes, I can do it. It's been a while. But no, with in game, when you add time to the whole thing, it changes everything. So now everything's kind of weird and all over the place. Then you add all the theories about the Sony Spider-Verse with Marvel multiverse and how they believe they've crossed that over and all sorts of other weird shit going on. It really you just got to kind of let it happen and let all the weird stuff that happened in the Flash happen and just kind of go with the movie. But okay, here we go.
You ready?
Go ahead, and if it's set for 3 minutes,
I got it set.
Well, we're going to start right now. I'm going to tell you the question. All right. 3 minutes. All right. So the first question is going to be: with the Flash only making 141 million worldwide right now, certain questions must be asked. First, is this due to Ezra Miller's legal and social issues, or is this more of a sign of superhero fatigue? And I know we've talked about that a lot, but which one would you say this is, or do you think it's something else? So who wants to go first with that one?
I'll go first.
Okay, Danny, go ahead and start your timer and go for it.
I don't think it's either one. I just think that the story was just bad. It had some good highlights to it. The Ezra Miller stuff didn't even factor anything into me wanting to go see it or not wanting to go see it. I mainly want to see it because, and I'm being totally honest, you and Sean went there and y'all were excited about it. Giddy and like 2 little girls coming out of it. So I was like, okay, it might be this one's going to be all right. So I went there with expectation that this movie is going to be fantastic based on the clips that what I saw. I like what I've seen in the clips. But then when I got there and saw it live in living color, just after the Ben Affleck scene, I started getting a little drowsy. I don't know why. I don't know whether I was actually tired or because it was just boring. But from there to the point where Ezra started going back in time, it's kind of like a blur to me because I can't remember it because I was kind of fighting in and out of sleepiness. But then once he got there, and then once I saw him met his other self and then figured out what was going on, and then they recreated the lightning that gave him his powers, and then he lost his powers, and the younger Flash got powers, and then doing all the super stuff he did, and then once they found Michael Keaton's Batman, that's when, to me, I started perking up, and the movie started really getting interested. The whole time Michael Keaton's in there, he steals the scenes of me. My attention is drawn to him. The way he explained how time works, I thought was fantastic, and the reason why is because he had a chance to. They had what they said was made before Endgame, but I don't know the exact timeline. But the way the Hulk explained it in there was totally confusing to me versus the way Michael Keaton explained it to me. And he used all kind of big words, but the way he used the symbolism with the macaroni and the strands and that kind of stuff, it made total sense to me. I thought it was better explained than it was in Endgame. And also, I said on Storm's Live, they should just use the way Back to the Future did it. Back to the Future did it perfectly. I understood every aspect of time travel, the way they did it. And that, yeah, I know you create the multiverse and all that kind of stuff, but the way Back to the Future did it, I didn't see any kind of multiverse. They were able to correct things, move stuff. And to me, I use the KISS acronym. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. You ain't going to have all these people trying to dissect every little part of it and say, well, that don't work. It like we a bunch of astrotheorists and physicists and can know all about time and all this. I don't know all that kind of stuff. I don't know all them formulas and all that kind of stuff. Ain't nobody to my knowledge has ever been in time. So a lot of stuff I believe you're just talking out your ass. But saying that, I don't think it was either one. I just think that the script really wasn't good, and that's why I don't think it's hero fatigue, because the Spider-Man movies show you it's not hero fatigue. If the script is good, then people are going to watch it. It's going to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. Yeah, no. So let's see here. I had something. Something came up here. Okay, yeah, here. And this is a question for both of you. You can answer right now. So Tucker, Jason put in, everyone knows DC is over and it's getting rebooted. Do you think that's a part of it too?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It could be it, but what could make sense, the way they changed Batman at the end, to me that made sense because we already knew Ben Affleck was not going to be a part of the new reboot.
Let me ask you this.
We never heard anything about George Clooney, so if they make George Clooney the new Batman in this new
Is George Clooney the one that's in the very end?
Yes.
Okay, they didn't show that to us, and we thought it might be him.
When he goes back in
Um,
time and he talks to Bruce on the phone, he's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, you
yeah.
were right, blah blah."
Mm-hmm.
And then when they show the car pulling up,
Says
it's George Clooney.
who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
And it's him. I figured that's probably where he is, but I'm like, does that mean they're going back to him, giving him another shot? He said he would never come back to play it, and so I think this is just a tongue-in-cheek thing.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Because they already said they're going to be recasting a younger Batman. So go ahead with my time, Chris.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Danny's
Danny, sorry.
So go ahead.
All right, I'm ready. So the one thing I will say is I agree with Danny. It's not superhero fatigue. These movies are still making money. The reason why they're not making as much is one, because like Danny said, because people aren't enjoying them, right? You had the first couple of phases of MCU, which built up to Endgame and Infinity War, but you had characters like Thor, Captain America, Iron Man. These were characters that people gravitated to, and that's why they did so well. Even Iron Man 2 and 3, which were garbage movies, they made a lot of money because it was Iron Man, right? So when it comes to The Flash, I think it's one, it is the stuff with Ezra Miller. Two, it's the stuff because people realize that James Gunn is rebooting it and it's not going anywhere. And then three, the script and everything else, the bad CGI, right? That's a lot of the stuff that people have been complaining about is the bad CGI. Where they dropped the ball is, as we were speaking, the end of the movie should have tied in to what James Gunn was planning on doing. So if they did all these reshoots and they did all of these taking out Henry Cavill and doing all of this, it made no sense for it to be George Clooney at the end. They could have did something else that tied into James Gunn's multiverse, which is what they said they were going to do, but they didn't end up doing that at all. So that's where it made it one of the hugest mistakes for me.
Could have done Christian Bale.
Oh, hell no. Hell no. No Christian Bale. No. I mean, they could have put him in the movie. You know what I mean?
They could have done Robert Pattinson. That would have been even better.
Oh, God. Danny's calling out all these shitty ass Batman.
Okay, would you rather see Robert Pattinson or George Clooney?
George Clooney.
Yeah, you crazy.
You know, what's funny is in the context of what they're doing here. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your minute. I'm sorry.
No. So I'm just saying, to me, that's where they made the biggest mistake, right? Now we're going to have Aquaman 2 coming out, Blue Beetle coming out. These two movies are not going to be tying into James Gunn stuff, so they're probably going to flop as well. To me, I think it was just like, oh, let's put this movie out to see how much money we can get on it. It's not a horrible movie. It's not like crap, right? I've seen crap, but it's not great either. I was like Danny. I was passing out in the movie. I found it a little boring at times, but once it got into the Michael Keaton stuff, that is actually where it picked up. But all the stuff before that just was like, I don't care about none of this, you know? I literally woke up because I did pass out in the theater, and I literally woke up when I heard the audience laughing. And it was the scene where they jumped out of the plane and Batman picked him up and he had his leg around him. And the crowd started laughing. Yeah, that's when I woke up. I was like, "Oh shit, okay, I passed out."
I don't disagree with any of that, and I'm with you. Based in the context of what they're showing, the Robert Pattinson and Christian Bale Batmans are completely separate from this universe. Completely, bringing in Michael Keaton then ties in the Clooney, the Val Kilmer, and all of that. It ties that in because those are all basically supposed to be the same series. So it ties it all in. So using Clooney and Keaton made sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that's kind of what I think.
Now that I think about it, though, Clooney and Keaton were the same Batman. So it kind of doesn't make sense.
Technically. But because of the major changes from 2 to 3 and then 3 to 4, you could always say that they were showing a different universe.
Yeah,
with the same thing. I mean, you could. I don't know.
you
Again,
could.
bringing back Zod didn't work for me. That's what he said. That's what David said. Blue Beetle is tied to guns, yes, and Aquaman isn't exactly. And I feel sad for that because, well, as soon as Danny's ready, I'm not sure if he wants to go ahead and start the timer. I'll go ahead and talk, but I don't know if he can hear me or not. Let's see here. Ben Affleck would be a great Alfred. Yeah, possibly. But anybody that was a part of that older Batman, I buy this. They should definitely take this side of it. And the Brave and the Bold isn't exactly that storyline, but you know.
I'll use my timer while Donnie's busy. So go ahead, Chris. I started.
Okay. All right. So I totally agree with you that more than anything, this is that they were supposed to use this to reboot. This was the reboot. And that's what this whole storyline premise is very similar to rebooting. It wasn't Crisis on Infinite Earths. It wasn't Flashpoint, but it's loosely tied off of those things. He sees all the different universes. All this stuff goes on. Use it and use it properly, which is you don't have to show the Batman. Shutting it down right where we saw it, where they didn't show Clooney. They just saw him stepping out. That would have been perfect. Cut to black, go to the credits, and then make us talk about who is it going to be? Who's the Batman? Who is this guy going to be? That would have been perfect. But yeah, you have to tie it in. You said it was going to tie in. You should have to do that. They didn't do that. So it's just another empty DCEU film. I loved it, but I totally agree. And I can totally see that this was designed to reboot. And they didn't even do that. They just basically recycled the old things that we had seen, added some new things. And when you bring up the CGI, we saw it 2 weeks before it was finished. They told us this isn't the finished product. They had a little thing from the producers at the beginning would say, this isn't the finished product. There's still lots of work left to do on it. So we're like, okay, great. They're going to finish up these CGI scenes. And there were some CGI scenes that looked really good. And then there were some that looked really horrible. Like the Nicolas Cage one, I thought that they were going to clean it up. I guess they didn't. Maybe they did. I don't know. When they show Christopher Reeve next to Supergirl, parts of that, as they showed and looked right on him, looked okay. But when they panned in on him, looked horrible. So again, there was that whole thing of, if that didn't get fixed, I can totally see it. So no matter how good the movie was or wasn't, whatever you want to say, the plot, the story, whatever, not tying it into guns, which he had plenty of time to do because we've heard there were tons of reshoots and tons of new stuff going on, and not cleaning up the CGI, those types of things kill it. And the word goes out, and it's like the old days, and that's fine. When a movie's bad or when it doesn't do things, people know and people hear about it. And hey, so I don't think that there's anything that's going to really fix this for them. And why even waste the money on Aquaman now? Why bother with it? So that's what I think. But let's do 3 minutes, all of us together, if Danny's back. Oh, unmute there, Danny. Okay, good. All right. Yeah, 3 minutes. So CGI, not for you guys. I like the premise of the movie, fine, but CGI doesn't tie into the new stuff or doesn't try to tie into the new stuff even, and a bad story. That's what we're going with, not Ezra Miller and not superhero fatigue.
Mm-hmm. Well, what are we saying, and Robert Storm saying is, I don't know, really don't care. But basically that how the CGI looked in the third act, like when all the worlds were different, was intentional and stuff.
Yeah,
that wasn't what I was talking about. I was talking about more the fight scenes with him. The both fights were fighting Zod and Zod's army and stuff. To me, some of that
Mm-hmm.
CGI was kind of iffy. The thing,
I can see that.
and like I said, to me, the idea was A plus, but the execution was not. They
Okay.
wanted to do
Yeah.
something, and the idea of all those different multiverses colliding with each other and seeing the old Superman, the different versions, even the old Batman and stuff. The idea was fire, but to me, the execution and how it looked, even though maybe it was intentional, I don't know if I would have made it intentionally look that crazy or blurry and whatever and stuff. But it was winks and stuff because I know I never was a fan of the Nicolas Cage Superman idea, and they showed that, and I guess some people thought that was wonderful and wow, all that good stuff. But
That was the part of my
I
theater where
like the
people
idea.
clapped. But you know what I liked about it is because when you watch the documentary that they made about it, right? One of the
Mm-hmm.
reasons why they didn't do it is because the producer wanted Superman to fight this big mechanical spider, and they ended up
Mm-hmm.
putting that in the movie. And I was like,
Yes,
you know
that
what?
was the funny thing about it was that they put that right in there. Like, here you go.
And when I seen it, I was like, well, I guess because the CGI would have been different, it probably would have looked different. But if they had did that now, yeah, that could have probably worked. That would have worked.
Yeah, I don't know. I liked it. Yeah, I mean, there could be a lot of reasons that it didn't do well because we know with Guardians 3, granted, I mean, where's it at now? 800 million, something
I
like
just
that.
thought when he used the Batman suit to make the Flash suit, I thought that was really dumb.
Yeah, me too.
No, yeah, that was
I,
like
I didn't
okay,
like that.
but I
Him
saw it
sawing off
coming
the
from a mile
ears
away.
and painting all the stuff, painting that arrow, the lightning bolt over the bat. I was like,
Hmm.
it seemed like Barry could have fashioned him something better since he already knew how to make the suit. And with Batman's inventory, I'm pretty sure they could have come up with something better, but I guess it was what it was.
And then they tried to make a joke out of it by when he's cutting off the ears and stuff, and I was just like, yeah, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I agree with that too. Hold on, just so let me see here. So Guardians of the Galaxy 3 right now is at 823 million worldwide. So we know it's not necessarily superhero fatigue.
Hmm.
I mean,
No,
so
it's just a
again,
story.
exactly. I
I
mean,
don't care
I like. Go ahead.
what Arizona Miller did not factor in me going to see it or not going to see it at all.
Facts.
When they
No.
said the Flash, and I saw the trailers, I thought the trailer was fire. Two people that went and saw it previously, well, three people if you count K Dot, said they liked it. So that made me want to go see a little bit more. Now, once I saw it, I didn't hate it, but I'm not in love with it either.
Yeah, exactly. Same here.
Yeah. All right.
They did do some
So
cool stuff in it. Go ahead, Chris.
no, I was just gonna say no. I totally agree. No, so I mean, like, what did you guys think of Ant-Man though?
I like that, man.
Okay, I did too. So,
I think
but
King. Well, one big thing, they didn't have a definitive villain. The Dark Flash. I mean,
Yeah.
but it kind of was like just
Hmm.
like the villain on Black Adam. You saw him
Yeah.
a whole 10 minutes, maybe.
Hmm. And if you watch, and I said this before, but if you watch season 3 of the Flash series when they had Savitar, it's exactly what they did in this movie.
See,
Savitar was a remnant of Barry, but this was just another Barry from the
they
OP
should have
universe.
had the Dark Flash. If they would have had the Dark Flash be the person that killed Barry's mother, then that would have made it a whole
well,
lot more.
that's isn't that what it is in the? Is that
No,
only in the
Dark.
TV series? No, it's
No,
in
TV
the.
says Reverse Flash killed his mother.
Yeah.
Okay, but is it? Yeah, I mean, there's all little differences, but yeah, I do agree that it was so obvious coming that as as they started doing the rewind to try to fight again, and he got the thing stuck in him, I was like, okay, this is the one that fought that knocked Barry out
Hmm.
of the thing, and there it did kind of lose. Like, okay, this is again, there was definitely some missteps there. So okay,
Absolutely.
second question. Let's go with this one. Kind of break up the two DC questions I've got. Let's see here. Too many chords and stuff around here. I'm fighting everything tonight. It's like, oh my gosh. All right. Jonathan Major has, or
Yeah,
Jonathan
everything.
Majors, yeah. Jonathan Majors has cited racist NYCPD cops for his domestic violence arrest. What are your thoughts on this? And do you think, with what we know, that he is innocent? And anything else you kind of have on the thought process of this? And I know there was some stuff that just came out today that his lawyers and him released, supposedly some
Tuesday.
footage that proves him innocent. I have not seen that yet. I will look into that. But let's just go with this, with what we know. And if you've seen it, go ahead and add that into your comments. But the fact that he calls the police racist, which, wouldn't surprise me necessarily. What are your thoughts on this? And do you think he's innocent? We'll start with you, Nzo. 3 minutes. Danny, go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm actually glad you brought this topic up because we talked about this on the OOC last night.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if the video came out. I haven't seen it yet. But basically, the article that they showed was from the insider who actually they seen a lot of the evidence that Jonathan Major's team was putting out there. And from what I gather from what they've said, 100% he's innocent. 100% those cops had some kind of agenda because they talk about how the cops asked the woman 19 times if he did something to her. 19 times, right? They also said they have a video of the cop like holding his neck to say like, did he choke you? Did he choke you? Now, from what the article says, is that they have video from the taxi and they show Jonathan Majors trying to escape. They show her grabbing his jacket, pulling it in, and then they have videos of her at the club after that where they're saying she's using her right hand, which supposedly had a broken finger. They show her playing with her hair and, they don't see any blood, so no laceration behind the ear. Now, Jonathan Majors ended up sending her a text telling her it's over. So they say in the video they can timestamp it to where she sees the text. She leaves a little bit after that, goes to Jonathan Major's house. He's not even there. When he gets there in the morning, he doesn't go alone. It's with him, and there was a handyman there because she had locked herself in one of the walk-in closets and was on the floor with her hand hurt, blood behind her ear. And she literally said she was drunk and she had taken sleeping pills, right? So she didn't even know what happened to her. So I think when the body cam footage comes out, you're going to see that these cops did have some sort of agenda. They've even said that the cops are walking around asking, how is this man able to afford this luxury penthouse, right? So I 100% believe he's innocent. And I said this earlier. I said, thank God for the writer's strike because Marvel can't move on, right? So because of that, they have the option to let's see how this plays out. Now, my only issue that I had is if they have all this evidence and they showed it in that hearing, then why the hell did the judge not throw out the case, right? Why is it going to trial? That's what I don't understand. Months ago or about a month ago, they brought an article that said that at a certain date that the prosecution or the prosecution was going to have to submit evidence, and then the defense team was supposed to counter that, and then on the 13th they were supposed to have this sort of trial, which they didn't have on the 13th. They had it on a few days later, but with that they still ended up going to trial. So I don't understand that part.
I can kind of explain that to one side of things is that if they drop it without explaining, which this stuff doesn't, like in the court, it's not going to get, if it gets dropped, nothing's going to get explained. I think they want this to play out. I think they want this to be, the powers that be want this to have light on it. So if he has this evidence and if this gets dropped, they just want to show that process, the due process that, hey, we did do the investigation. And while there was this viable at the time thing, maybe they just want to show, hey, we let the process go forward and it proved right. Maybe, I don't know. Because if they drop it, then the whole world's going to blow up. Oh, well, this is just them dropping it for another, actor saying this didn't happen. And that's the only thing I think is that they're like, okay, well, if we drop it, we're screwed. If we let it go through, and by the look of it, it'll go through and he'll win. Maybe they're just going to let it happen. I mean, maybe. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but maybe. All right, Danny, 3 minutes. Go ahead.
I think he's innocent. And if his lawyer is worth anything, he should definitely look at the Sixth Amendment. The Sixth Amendment, which talks about the right of a speedy trial. And then there's a Speedy Trial Act of 1974, which pretty much says if you've been arrested 3 days after, the indictment must be filed. And if the indictment is not, if a trial is not in place by the next 70 days, if I remember correctly, then you can ask for a motion to dismiss. So if I was them, I'd be putting that to the letter of the law. I mean, because that's in the Constitution, the Sixth Amendment. But whether or not they're going to do that or can do that, I don't know, because sometimes the amendment can be kind of vague and it goes to interpretation of the particular solicitor or prosecutor in whatever district he's in. So I don't know the solicitor or the prosecutors in New York, but I know that's in the Sixth Amendment, and I know there's a such thing as the Speedy Trial Act. So whether or not they can use that to their advantage to get him exonerated, I don't know, but that's what I'd be trying to harp on. Because I don't think, because if they had a slam dunk and he had something, TMZ would have been done had that video footage of him being guilty or innocent. So there's no video that secret that TMZ had in the past hadn't been able to get their hands on. So that leads me to believe that what they got isn't enough to prosecute this man. But now they just trying, and like I said last night, I've seen some law enforcement officers that they're not going to say they made a mistake because they're going to put egg on their face, and they're going to be like, let's just write it out. Then if it rides out and I don't get the conviction, and the judge does it, then that's on the judge. But at least I done my job, or at least did this. So they're going to leave this in the court hand. So they kind of save face, because if they do, if they get conviction, good. But if they don't, then they can use the excuse, well, I did my job, but the judge did yada, yada, yada. So that's what I think is going to happen.
Okay. That's good.
I do think he's innocent.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. So for me, I'm the same way. I think that there's a lot of this stuff that's going on that I don't think we have the full story. If his camp is so confident, and if his camp has this evidence, go ahead. They're probably like, go ahead, take it to trial. You guys are going to look like idiots. I was going to ask Danny before he left, but I'll ask him when he comes back. Which is worse? To drop it, take the flack for that, or to drop or not drop it, and go through with it, and then find out at the end of it, oh, you didn't get the conviction because perhaps it was railroaded. He was thrown under the bus, and they thought they could get the conviction. And then all this stuff comes out, and like, oh shit, I guess we're wrong. Is it better to just admit that you don't have the information, or do you want to save face and try to say, hey, look, we do. We're going to win this, even if you know you can't. So that is something like what he said. Just write it out, blame it on the judge then. Oh, the judge let him go. Judge made the final say or whatever. I don't know. But, hey, Terrence, what's going on?
Terrence?
I don't think that you're wrong, Nzo. I think you're absolutely right. If Marvel could have asked for this to happen at any time, this was the time. Mm-hmm. It happened. Like, everything happened. It just perfect for this. He started the trial stuff and the legal stuff right before the writer's strike. Mm-hmm. So they're just sitting back and going like, let it happen. Because Hollywood, the studios and stuff, are never going to be in a hurry to fix this writer's problem. Because it's write-offs, it's we're losing money, all that stuff. They're fine with it. The writers are the ones really losing because they don't make nearly as much as the directors and all the other people. So they're going to write it out. And now, especially with this, hell, I wouldn't doubt that Disney and Marvel and stuff was like, we're not in a hurry to fix this writer's problem because we'd much rather go forward with Jonathan Majors. So if he can prove his innocence in the time that we're going through this writer's strike, great, because then we don't have to do anything. We don't have to answer about it. We don't have to come up with a solution to replace him because people want him gone. We don't have to do any of that stuff. If it goes through court, he's found not guilty, or they drop the case, they didn't lose anything. They didn't have to answer. They didn't have to make any move. And when the writer strike stops, they go right on doing the projects the way they wanted to do them. So there's nothing right now but time. And it is the perfect time for Jonathan Majors because the studio doesn't care right now about him. It's in court. Let them handle it. And, I mean, that's the best thing for him right now. So, all right, let's all three talk about this real quick here. So
I agree with you. I was going to say, I agree with you 100% because if they didn't have this writer strike, I believe Marvel would have probably jumped the gun and, we got to get our movies out. So what we're going to do is we're going to, replace it. Yeah, for sure. So this writer strike was pretty much a blessing for him. But he also said in the article, like, he wants to get this taken care of because it's pretty much ruining his career, to be honest.
It's causing him future jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know, man.
Imagine he probably had a 3-movie deal in the works with Marvel. That's a lot of money.
Yep.
So and he is.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And he is the main bad guy for this section of Marvel. So the 10 years that Thanos was the bad guy, he is that bad guy for this. And we've all agreed. I think we all agree about this. If there's one thing that's going to save Marvel in this group of phases, it's the fact that he's the bad guy because he plays it great. He plays the version on Loki great. He played the sympathetic like scientist guy in Quantumanium great. But when he becomes the bad guy, when he shows himself as a bad guy, he plays that great too.
Yeah,
he plays all sides of this character very well.
In that end scene credit, you saw a glimpse of him playing 3 different versions.
Exactly.
Yep.
So that and to see the Hall of Kings, I think there was.
Yeah.
That I was like, I'm ready to see this. What it's
exactly.
Because in the book, to me, King was so watered down. I mean, he was not even on my radar in the Fantastic Four. That's not a comic book I ever collected or followed.
Yeah. And Warren used to always like champion Kang, and I was right there with you, Danny. I'm like who cares about Kang? Kang ain't nothing. I knew nothing about Kang. Yeah. But now that I see him in the MCU, it's like they brought this little thing to him where it's like, oh, this could be a very interesting character. And then you see all the different Kangs he's going to be playing, which shows the range that Jonathan Majors actually has, right? And for Marvel to have to reboot and reset all of that would just be too much of an issue for them.
Yes.
What do you have to say about this? Yusuf says it takes more than him to save Marvel. What do you think?
I think it may he use some help, but I mean, it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to recreate the magic that Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor had.
Facts.
It's going to be hard to capture that magic, but he's a step in the right direction. I ain't say he's the end all be all, but he's definitely a step in the right direction.
Absolutely, 100%.
Well, I think that the whole, like Thanos, it has to be the right bad guy, and he is the right bad guy.
He's the right bad guy, but I haven't seen that 3-headed monster like we saw with Cap, Thor, and Iron Man. I don't know who the next 3-headed monster will be. I don't think the Marvels are strong enough to do it.
They're gonna have the Marvels. They're gonna
Spider-Man could do it.
Ant-Man, Spider-Man.
I don't think Ant-Man's strong enough to do it. He's not.
Well, no, he isn't. But he's going to be part of that Avengers group, and I think Rhodey's coming back to be in it.
I don't think Rhodey's going to. I think it could have been Spider-Man. It could have been Black Panther, and they may do a time jump I don't know. Next time we see Marvel, because it's Rat Scrat, T'Challa might be a young man, like
Maybe
2021. I could see him being 2021. Because right now he's about what, 13? How old? 7, 8? What was he in the last one?
I think
like
it was
eight
like
to
7 or
ten.
8.
8.
Yeah.
So I could see 10 years jumping by.
Yeah,
You
they
could see,
could. I mean,
they could, and we could see the current Spider-Man age another 10 years.
you could,
So
but
we,
remember they've also introduced time into the Marvel universe. So again, with time travel and all of that stuff in, who's to say that they don't think we need T'Challa or we need him as the Black Panther or something, and they jump forward in time or some stupid crap like that. I'm, they could do anything. Once you introduce time to Marvel,
I could see him. Um, Doctor Strange could be a part of that three-headed monster
mhm,
because he has the charisma of Robert Downey Jr. Um, what's his name? Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
yeah, Benedict Cumberbatch. Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
I can see him. No, not Shang-Chi. No, not Ant-Man. They're not part of it.
No.
I don't. Well, Ant Man, I think, has already been kind of said that he's going to be a part of it because he was part of the old one. I'm pretty sure that uh, what's his name?
Their options are getting limited because now Jerry Renner, he's hurt.
Falcon.
He can't. I can see Falcon and maybe the
Um,
Winter Soldier.
well, I think Bucky might. Well, Jeremy Renner's already actually quite far along in things, and he says that there's more that he has planned with them. He hasn't said much about it. I don't think he'll ever be anything more than a secondary character.
Mhm.
Even in Hawkeye, he was still kind of he was in it, but he's always a second-hand character. Um, I think what you'll see Jeremy Renner in, if they can get him in, is the Daredevil stuff and maybe a couple more movies and maybe a cameo in like the Avengers movie, maybe, but I'm not sure. Okay, just as long as Spider-Man gets to help out, that's all I care about. He will. I'm pretty sure he will. Okay, so the last question I have here, and I will have to kind of frame what I'm asking here in a certain way. With the dismal numbers that the Flash is bringing in, what do you think that says about the chances of Gunn's upcoming DC reboot? Now, what I mean by that is what Anza said earlier. They said that they were going to use this movie to help reboot and move to that. Now, how they should have done that, I'm not saying. I don't know, but that's what they sold this on, and it didn't happen. So is that James Gunn not doing what he said, or is that something else? And do you think that it doesn't make a difference at all that his reboot's still good to go? That's kind of where I'm going with this. Do you think that this is a sign that he's not equipped to do this, or is this just they don't really care about what's left of the DCEU and they're just ready to move on? So, who wants to go first on this one?
I can go first.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
no
Go ahead.
matter. I'm gonna go.
All right, I'll go first.
All right, go ahead.
I don't really think it's gonna affect the James Gunn stuff because for me, again, it's always about the story, right? So if you do a Superman story where you're giving the people the Superman that they want to have, right? The hopeful, the caring, the cares for people Superman, and you put a good story in there, I don't think people will. I think it'll do good. The problem is that you have a group out there, obviously, that just wants to hate on it because it's not the Snyderverse stuff, right? But they're so minimal that I don't think that they really affect it. The other problem is a lot of people know James Gunn for the type of humor that he puts in his movies. And that, I think, is one of the reasons why a lot of people are skeptical about him being the head of DC going forward, right? Because Peacemaker, you know what I mean? The Suicide Squad. I like the Suicide Squad, but Danny didn't like it. He didn't find it funny. He thought it was silly. Even Nerdman thought some of the jokes were like um, kindergarten humor. That's what he was calling it, right? So James Gunn has that stigma to where people think that that's the type of humor that they're going to get. Even then, when you watch Guardians of the Galaxy movies, you get that kind of silly kind of humor. I think they toned it down in the third one, but the second one was just ridiculous with the amount of garbage, like, take you out of a moment humor. So if James Gunn can avoid that, then I think he'll be fine, right? He has to get the right cast, hands down. I know he wants to go younger, and he's putting, like, he has these people that he wants in there, maybe actors that nobody um, knows, but you got to look the part as well. You know what I mean? When people talk, Henry Cavill was chiseled. That's their Superman. So whoever is going to play Superman, I think they got to go to the gym. Nobody wants to see a Christopher Reeves type of Superman. You know what I mean? They want the Superman to look larger than life. So if James Gunn gets all of those things right, then his movie has a chance. But if that first trailer comes out and people are like, what the hell is this? Then there's going to be an issue. Also, like, the movies that are coming out that came out aren't doing so well too. So that is going to put a damper. That just means that he is going to have to be even extra better to get those people back in. It's just what he's going to have to do to. Um, but I don't think it's dead in the water yet. I think he could pull it off. So I can't wait to see that. To be honest with you.
All right, very good. Danny, go ahead.
I agree with Lonzo saying. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that James Gunn is going to be in trouble. I think, and I'm going to use the Star Wars example, the Rise of Skywalker, the movie. Some people, the younger Star Wars fans, think that it is a fantastic movie, or they give it a more of a higher grade than the older Star Wars fans. But I've read the book, and the book is 10,000 times better than the movie because they had a chance to fill in the gaps and to be more explain more in the book. So it made, if you watch the movie after reading the book, it made more sense in some of the stuff. Kind of like, and I probably might get ridiculed for this, but I don't care. The Twilight franchise movie does not hold a candle to the books. I read the books. The books are more. They break down more. They tell you more. They tell you why they did this. They tell you a lot more about the werewolves and their powers, more about the vampires and their powers. But because of so much time that they couldn't put that in, it kind of leaves you filling in some gaps. But if you read the books, then you know more about it. Same thing with Harry Potter. Harry Potter did a better job than Twilight did in explaining it, but the books were so much better. But the books were just almost, I would say the books, 100%. The Harry Potter movies was 85. For Twilight, the books are 100%. For the movie, I'd say maybe 75. So I think if James Gunn sees all the past mistakes that these movies are having, and people are saying hero fatigue, and he see all the bad movies that Walter Hamada did, I would hope that he would learn from his mistakes. I hope that he would watch this and then be able to kind of improve upon an existing problem. Kind of like how James Cameron, it took him 12 years to make the second one, but to me, people that watch it like the second one much better than the first one. So he improved upon his mistakes and his issues that he had. When I watched the second one, I liked it much better than the first one. So I think if you are a true student of the game, where everybody proclaims that James Gunn is, that he's going to learn from his mistakes and he should improve upon past mistakes that his predecessors did. Having said that, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until I see that first trailer. That first trailer is going to do, like Nzo said, make you be like, what is that? Or, okay, he's on the right track. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, toes crossed, whatever else, whatever metaphor you want to use or whatever, I hope that he does the DCU proud. They need a win. They haven't had a win since Aquaman. So he's supposed to be new Saber, which I think Zack Snyder universe was perfect. For me, I would have built upon that, but I guess he want to make his own mark. But he got to get it right. If he don't, then DCU is done.
First off, David, Christopher Reeve for his time was cool. And then better than Routh, in my opinion. I mean, Routh, I think, did all right. I think there was a
Are you
lot of
starting
writing
now?
issues and story issues. No, I'm just talking
Oh,
about what David said there.
oh,
Anyways, go ahead. You can start now.
all right.
So, what I've been reading about this, I'm actually kind of excited about the Superman movie now. So, David Cornswet is the supposed leader of the pack of people. Now, Gunn hasn't really given a lot out of who, but this is according to a lot of insiders and stuff that David Cornswet is the guy that might get picked. He looks kind of like a mix between Christopher Reeves and the young Henry Cavill. I see it. I see that he could pull it off, so I'm very hopeful. And I've said it. I'm not necessarily believing he can pull this off. I don't like the lineup he has of movies. I don't like any of that. But I'm definitely going to give it a chance. I think he's picking the wrong Batman movie because it's already been done almost perfectly, some people say, as an animation. But some of the things I've heard more recently really has my attention that this could end up being something really cool. So we'll have to see about that. But I don't think that this really says anything. I do think there was a missed opportunity that they had to connect whatever was coming. Like I said, you didn't have to show Batman. You didn't have to show George Clooney there. I kind of figured that's what they did. But the way I saw it, where they just blacked it out, would have been perfect. Because then it causes buzz, causes like people going like, who do you think the next Batman's going to be? That Batman movie is further down than the Superman movie. So then it takes focus off of the first one and gives you a little bit of time to really just kind of think about it without people talking about it. So there was some plus sides to it. But they didn't do that. So I'm wondering how much Gunn really had to do with any of this. He's probably just said, I'm not even worried about that. Do what you want to it. If you want to put something in there, you want my help, you want me to give you some insight, maybe where I want to go, just talk to me. And they probably didn't. They probably just did some reshoots and some little story tweaks and changes and said, that's good. And I think more and more, the more I see these, he isn't meddling with any of it. He's just like, do what you want. It's like, because that doesn't mean anything to what I'm doing. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing. You finish up your stuff over there. You finish up that DCEU. I'm thinking about my DCEU. So I don't think it has anything to do with that. And like I said, the Superman stuff that I've read recently kind of has me excited about it. So I know I didn't say that before, but I'm thinking that he might be able to pull it off. So that's where I'm at with that. 3 minutes for everybody.
I'm right there with you. I think he can pull it off. Like I said, it just has to be done correctly. You have to be able to draw the people that are skeptical in, right? And you have to make sure, like you said, because even Trap's saying he wants Henry Cavill back. We already know Danny wants Henry Cavill back too, right?
I do too.
And as well you do. So you got to have someone on there that at least has some kind of charisma that can at least make people forget about Henry Cavill as Superman. If not, you're doomed to fail.
I mean, but Trap says it. It did need a clean break, but that's what we said. So, hearing that the Aquaman is going to be totally separate, see, that's not what I heard. I heard that there's still a chance that that's going to feed into this next set.
I'm hearing Aquaman is worse than his Flash movie. Like, it's terrible to watch. Why did you keep putting out those movies if they're so bad? I mean, I would just
because they'll make their money back from.
You worse than Shazam? That's saying something. And I must say, I thought I'd never say this, but I think I like Shazam 2 a little bit better than the Flash, even with the Michael Keaton part, because they had definitive villains.
I agree.
So I'm like,
I haven't seen that one yet. I started it the other day.
There's some silly stuff in the movie, but the villains were pretty much on point.
And to your point too, Danny, like just say they would have ended up, having a little end scene where you see Reverse Flash going back and killing Barry's mom.
Yeah.
That would have added a whole new dynamic to
A
the
whole
movie.
different element to it.
Yeah. They dropped the ball so many.
They should have. I'm telling you, if you didn't want to make this movie some money, they should have maybe for this one appearance only get the guy that played Homelander, put him in a Reverse Flash suit, and man, that theater would have went crazy.
I agree.
Probably. Yeah. No, I think that. Yeah, I don't know. Again, there's so much we don't know. I think Danny and I were on agreement. If they totally do a clean cut, totally away, no Gal Gadot, as bad as I hate to say that, no Gal Gadot, no Jason Momoa, or at least change their roles into a different character. I don't care, whatever you want to do. That's the only way that I think that this whole new series of movies will work.
I ain't never seen about getting rid of Gal Gadot.
No. Well, no. What I mean is no.
No.
I'm just saying that I think that this movie, these sets of movies, the new ones, have to be totally cut from the DCEU. It's the only way. So
they messed up. If the CW can, we can prove this was done. This is gonna. I'm gonna use a Batman quote that I got from this sign right here. I just gotta find it. Batman says it best. Everything's impossible until somebody does it. The CW did it. They could have stole it because they're under the same umbrella. The CW can do a Flashpoint episode where Barry goes back, messes up the timeline, does that kind of stuff, and then when he comes back to the current time, things are different. But he changed Diggle's child sex. I think Cisco's brother was killed, and when he changed the timeline, there are certain things, but we still had Cisco. We still had everybody. Just some things were changed. They still could have done that. Superman could have been out of that black. He could have been, instead of being like Zack Snyder, Superman, all mean and gruff or whatever, he could have been more like Christopher Reeve when he come back. Batman could have been a little bit different. Wonder Woman could have been a little bit different. All that stuff that they made the mistakes they made in the past movies, the Flashpoint could have corrected that. But they lost out on a missed opportunity, and James Gunn could have done that. When he took over, he could say, okay, we're going to do this reshoot. But the whole third act, we're going to do something when Barry does his Flashpoint. He's going to come back. There's still going to be Ben Affleck. There's still going to be Superman. He could have done that. But because of his pride or whatever, or ego, whatever it is, then they want to do it. It makes no sense. And I'm going to use the analogy of baseball, which I know very little about. Say I got these Hall of Famers on here, or I'm going to say basketball. I got LeBron James, I got Michael Jordan, I got whatever. I'm not, and I'm the new owner. I'm not getting rid of all of that stuff that's working and that is going to be, and they still not, now if they over the hill, that's one thing. But if they're still in their prime, they still can produce, I'm not getting rid of them and starting clean. That, to me, that makes zero sense. But that's essentially what he did. So,
Yep.
I don't understand it. I don't agree with it, but that's just the way it is.
But I think, Danny, this goes back to the point you've made so many times before on these shows. It's no longer Zack Snyder's. It's like Star Wars. Well, you can say what you want, but
yeah, just
it's
like
now his baby.
I'm glad you say that. We saw the idiotic statements that Kathleen Kennedy made about Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker is a proven commodity. It ain't no fluke. It ain't no anomaly. It's proven. When he comes on there, and she said it, if we need a little boost or a little boost in ratings and boost in this, then we bring him on there. Okay, if this guy is doing that, why not keep him in a steady, episodic, whatever, let him be every other episode or every 2 episodes, but keep him in the fold? Why? That makes no sense to me. I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all.
Well, that could have very well been a good idea there.
Absolutely not,
Android.
David. There is no chance they sell this.
And said, what? Well, the Flash woke up at the end as a different actor that would have been fired.
Yeah, they could have done that too.
Mm-hmm.
They could have done that too. But David's asked if there's any way that, or no, they're not selling it to
No,
Netflix.
they're done with it.
That's not happening.
That's gone. Yeah, that's gone. I mean, the
Mhm.
only thing you know, what's funny is I keep going back to the fact, you know, everybody is it's like the whole Disney thing. People are saying, "Oh, they're losing money. They're losing money." No, because this money gets made back up because they'll submit it in the tax report saying, "Look, we lost all this money on this movie. Those are profit losses. We need to get compensated.
The only thing I'm
It's
really
a part of the game."
kind of scared about Disney is the,
Mhm,
from what I'm hearing, I haven't been to Disney World in probably over 15 years. Is that
mhm.
how they're not doing the upkeep of the parks? I'm hearing the parks are terrible. Like some of the rides are not like safe. Ticket sales are down. That is kind of alarming to me.
I actually haven't heard anything like that.
I've heard it. I've heard it. I
Well,
heard it from Lorena Creole, and I've heard it from he was on here earlier, Tuckerverse.
um,
That what they're saying. They said that some of the animatronics look like something from the '90s and like I said, I haven't been there, so I don't know. This is just
I
reporting that
haven't either. Haven't heard that though, so I don't know.
is Tuckerverse still in here?
I don't know. Hold on
Let's
just a
Tucker.
second, guys.
Has he been there? That's how he
He
knows, or
lives
is
in
it just
Florida. If I'm
oh,
mistaken, he lives right not too far from it.
okay? Because I know, yeah, I know Lorena Creole. She goes to them all the time. Like
Yeah.
you can see her park hopping stuff. Um, it, I don't know when she does her stuff. This it seems all right, but I don't
Like I
know.
Yeah,
said, I
I
heard him talk about it. I think he was on the Hangout one night. They were saying like some of the I'm not sure all of it, but like some
I
of
think
the rides aren't up to code like it should be. Some of the stuff is not the upkeep is not good. So I don't know whether it's an exaggeration or maybe it was a bad day when they wasn't there. I don't know, but I know I heard that conversation.
um so like I said the other day in one of the groups that I have on Twitter, I went in there and said, guys, come on, let's. I think the problem for us is we're stuck into just one vocal note of what people think of Disney. A lot of the people we talk to, a lot of people we interact with, are on one side of this fence. And of course, there's other people that I've seen on the other side of the fence. Oh, Disney's still perfect. Disney's excellent. Da, 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 da. There's somewhere between these two extremes that the reality is. What is that reality? Well, Bob Chapek is no longer a part of the Disney parks. That was his baby, and he did a really good job for it for years. Then they moved him up, and that didn't work out. So they got rid of him. Well, maybe it is partially true that some of the stuff in the parks and stuff needs to be fixed up because they don't have the same guy that used to watch that and take care of that. Um, so there's that truth. That I don't know. It's somewhere in the middle, I think. But I haven't been there. I'm like you, Danny. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they're horrible. So I don't know. Do you all know why they keep on making Transformer movies?
Of course,
Because even when
because
they
it's
suck, they make
money.
money.
This last one wasn't bad.
Yeah, I mean,
I
No, it
just think
wasn't
that
bad.
it wasn't promoted well.
I did not see it. I
Yeah, no,
haven't
it
seen it
wasn't
yet.
bad
But
at all.
what'd you think
Like I
of it?
said,
I
it
know
didn't
you
have no
guys were
CGI
really.
problems. The CGI was on point.
I
Was
Did
it?
think
not
it's
have
the
I know
best
you
one.
guys. Okay, so because they had the tagline in the trailers. The best one since the original,
Hmm.
which I liked the original. After that, it started getting really crappy. So uh, I'll watch it. I'll see what's
The
going on with it.
Transformers they showed like the first 10 minutes of Bumblebee was the best.
Absolutely,
If they could do something
100%,
like that, the whole movie, like the
one hundred
Decepticons
percent
versus the Autobots on Cybertron, and then they
facts.
then they leave Cybertron and go to like where the Beast Wars is at. If they was to do that in live action and keep all these humans out of it, or very minimal humans, I think it'd be a whole lot better. But for whatever
Fact.
reason, they gotta have that human factor in it, and sometimes it kind of draws away from the actual
Oh
story.
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely, because in
Or
Transformers,
they.
right, you get that one opening scene which is amazing, and then you go about 30 to 40 minutes without seeing any Transformers. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Or minimal transforming or anything like that. Like they're just in their car form or something. Yeah. Is this true? Are they talking about doing this? What Shifty said? He says, I don't want a G.I.
They
Joe.
alluded to it at the end.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
did they? Oh,
that's
yeah.
the end scene
oh
credit.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the end scene credit. It was more.
It was
like
just the end of the movie.
the last 2-3 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
This guy comes in and he has an interview with the main human protagonist in there, and he's looking for a job. And he thinks it's a regular security job, but then this guy talks to him and he gives him a card. And then at the end,
when he turns the card over, she says G.I. Joe on it.
The G.I. Joe thing.
But I'm not gonna lie.
Interesting.
I'm not gonna lie though. I like jumped out of my seat. I was like, "Oh shit, they're doing that!" Like I thought it was good. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I enjoyed it.
I know one thing. That you did not see that one coming.
No.
Anybody see they saw it coming?
Were there 3? They've made 3 G.I. Joe movies, right?
Yeah. The first one was the best by far.
Yeah. The first one, then they had the one with Rock, and then Snake Eyes.
Well,
I actually like the one with
Bruce
Rock
Willis in
better.
the first one?
No, Bruce Willis was in the second one.
Damon
I actually
Wayans
like the
in
second one. Yeah. I like the second one better than the first one, to be honest with you. Just a little bit more. But the third one, Snake Eyes, caca.
Well, Bruce Willis isn't going to be doing any other movies.
Yeah.
He got a disease or something.
Yeah, he shouldn't even have been in the second one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, the whatever he's got is worse than Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
It's just running right through him.
Voice and stuff.
So,
all right.
I think they did G.I. Joe Transformer crossover in the comics as well.
They did. I never read it, but I've heard people say they did.
Yeah, so I was cool with it. I'm like, all right, bring it on.
Guys.
Because it makes sense, right? Because, in the Transformer movies, they have the army guys that always come in. So it being G.I. Joe, yeah, that's fire. I like that.
I think that guy in the Transformer is going to be one of the Joes you see in the cartoons. I don't know what his code name is going to be, but that's what I was thinking.
Maybe. I could agree with that.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't know.
I'll have to see this one and see what I think.
Yeah, you'll like it. If you like...
So, all right, cool.
You'll like it. If you like the other ones, you'll like this one. I think it's the best one, to be honest with you. But yeah.
I liked the first and the second one kind of. Yeah, it was the one, the Dark of the Moon or whatever, that got horrible. And then I think I watched like half of Nightfall or whatever the fuck it was called.
Devastator. Was it Devastator?
Devastator, that piece of shit that they called Devastator.
Like some kind of giant monkey rat or something. I don't know what he was when he transformed.
Whatever it was, I remember, and I forgot about it. But I was watching I think it was one of these movies where they were videos where they were talking about all the Transformer movies, and yeah, he had balls.
Yeah,
like they gave him balls, and I'm like, oh my god, Michael Bay and this fucking bullshit. Yeah, Transformers humping legs and shit. Like, nah, I don't do that.
Yeah, they got really horrible. And I remember what people said about Shia LaBeouf, and I'm like, I'll take Shia LaBeouf back in any movie with that premise as long as they leave that other crap out. But
to be honest with you, the humans in this one were better than all the humans in all the other Transformers movies.
Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, guys. An hour and 14 minutes we've been going. We were about 14 minutes late, so just about on time. So we made it. And if you guys didn't know, if you didn't look at the title or whatnot, this is the 100th episode.
Oh, nice.
So hey, we finally made it there because we've been talking about. You guys have been past it for at least 3 or 4, and it's like finally made it to my 100th.
Yeah, you know why that is though, Chris?
Because I'm always gone. I'm always busy. I'm always. Which version are you going to give out?
And I was just gonna say because we do our job. You know what I mean?
No.
Yeah.
I got all the
You know,
behind the scenes stuff I got to take care of.
Don't let-
All of that. I mean,
Oh yeah, we
nothing or
know.
no one interfere with our commitment.
Yeah,
to
we know there's a
brotherhood.
lot of
no.
behind the scenes
That
stuff.
not that.
Sure.
Actually, no,
Yeah.
because like I said, like my computer's downstairs in pieces right now because I got to get some stuff fixed on it. So it's like that happened. Then the whole,
Oh,
past couple
so
weeks happened.
so it's in pieces. Me and Daddy will discuss backstage why it's in pieces.
Oh no, not like that though. All right. Anyways, guys, we'll talk to y'all later. Thank you, everybody who was watching, and guys, thank you for being here. Sorry about all the time we had to push this off, but it happens. That's how it goes. So, all right, guys, everybody, good night.
Peace.
Peace.